Gervonta Tank Davis constantly reminds the media and boxing community that his beast mode does not end after leaving the ring during his fights. Tank Davis is on for some real-life action, whether it's just his training sessions or while he's working his ass off for a win in the ring. Just recently, Tank Davis lost control during a sparring session and almost put his opponent to the ground. Slow down, Tiger. This is just a sparring session. It's not the real deal. It seems Tank Davis wants to be feared when the cameras are on him in the ring and even while he's just training behind the scenes. No one is sure what exactly triggered Tank Davis's anger, which led to him losing his temper and throwing punches harder than he should have during a sparring session. Was Tank Davis angry about something from home? Or did the face of his sparring partner not just sit right with his soul, and he decided to bring it to a physical state? Or did he just forget it wasn't a serious match like he was in the ring? Only Tank Davis can answer those questions. But hey, many people already have different opinions about Tank's actions. Folks are thinking Tank is probably getting way too aggressive, and that may cost him the career he has worked so hard to build.
I guarantee we touch the body, so.
Tank Davis has been going too hard on himself, as perceived by the boxing community. Tank went from fighting Frank Martin in June to training with the Olympic team almost immediately. That's not all. Tank immediately started his training session with his coaches after that. Tank Davis has been on a spree. He's not slacking, but here's the most asked question on folks' lips. Does Gervonta Tank Davis think he's lacking in some way his audience doesn't know about and he's trying to make up for it? Or is he just doing all of these things to keep his record as clean as possible? Tank will have to be the one to also answer this. Although Tank is preparing for a unification match, does that really warrant Tank being completely aggressive and losing his cool everywhere? It's a dicey situation to judge right now. But having a record like Tank's record isn't an easy fit, and anyone would do anything to guard that type of record with everything they have. Talking about going hard to guard his record, Tank has been missing out on some public events he normally would always attend because his schedule is totally packed. One time, Tank's coach, Calvin Ford, had to attend a conference on Tank's behalf. Yeah, Tank's coach will definitely have good things to say about his trainee, but it doesn't wipe away the fact that Tank Davis was supposed to be present at the event. However, he has to do what he has to do, and in this case, it means he has to go over and beyond to continue being at his best. Anyway, Tank's coach, Calvin Ford, couldn't help but praise Tank and even mention how Tank was going to kick his opponent's ass when they met in the ring. To be fair, he did. So who do you have in mind? It is hard to pick anyone because Tank is one of the unbeaten fighters in the modern boxing scene. So when you think of any of his opponents, you know he won the fight. Some have been a little bit rough, while some have been easy wins. But Tank Davis has still always been the fighter getting his hand lifted by the referee after all of his fights, like his former boss, Floyd Mayweather. Y'all remember Floyd's record being in the Hall of Fame, as he never lost to any fighter in his professional career till he retired. Floyd Mayweather kept his clean record for decades. He left when the ovation was loudest, as he didn't allow any fighter to taint his hard-earned record. Thinking about it, Gervonta Tank Davis is currently doing the same thing right now. Everyone around Tank Davis always has similar answers when questioned about Tank's performance and career. Tank doesn't seem like he will allow anyone to taint his record. It's like a big trait he inherited from his mentor, Floyd. Before you start thinking Floyd and his protege Tank Davis have gone their separate ways, you should remember he was a major force behind Tank's career when he began. Floyd must have pictured Tank Davis taking over from him in the boxing scene. Well, that is currently happening, but not the way everyone expected. These two are not on good terms as we speak. But never say never. Floyd and Tank Davis may realize they are like two peas in a pod and reconcile, or maybe not. However, Tank Davis' hard work and resilience has been speaking for him. Anyone can testify to the fact that Tank is a brilliant fighter. Tank's former promoter in Mayweather Promotions, former CEO Leonard Ellerbe, is known for always being solidly behind Tank Davis. Even after Tank left Mayweather Promotions in an unpleasant way, Leonard Ellerbe would face any camera to defend Tank and rain praises on his name. During press conferences about Tank and Frank Martin's fight, Frank the Ghost was in for some real trash talking. Mind you, the trash talking wasn't only from Tank Davis, who was his opponent. Frank Martin had made comments about knocking Tank out, but everyone knows Tank and his team have smart mouths, so Frank learned the hard way.
It's going down, you know what I mean? We here, you know? Like I said once before, I appreciate Tank giving me this opportunity to come whoop his ass come June 15th. It's on, you know what I mean? He ain't been in there with nobody like me. I'm coming different, you know, when you say, Kyle, when you say push them buttons, I'm gonna push every button that he got on his ass. Every one, you know.
Once again, things heating up already for this main event, the WBA lightweight champion.
Remember Frank finding out he messed with the wrong fighter the hard way? Oh well, here it is. Ellerbe was the first to tell Frank that he should take a seat and relax for when Tank Davis would trash him in the fight. Ellerbe told Frank and his team that Tank Davis became a world champion in 2017, while Frank Martin was not even in the professional fighting league yet.
It's a phenomenal trainer. But let's be real. Let's be real. Okay, for starters, in 2017, do you know what Tank was doing? Tank became world champion. You know what Frank Martin was doing? He wasn't even professional yet, okay? So one thing about this boxing shit, you can't skip steps. It's something what we call experience.
Ow, that was a low blow right there. Frank indeed found out the hard way because that was embarrassing, but Ellerbe wasn't lying. When June 15th came, Tank Davis showed Frank Martin who the real boss was, as he was the one who whooped Frank's ass in the ring. And there was it. Tank Davis reminded the boxing community once again that he lives up to his hype, and he will continue to do so. Hence one of the reasons Tank is going as hard as he can to keep his name up there in the history of boxing. Tank Davis has always made his stance clear, and he never loses sight of the prize. Each and every fight Tank Davis has fought has always been about him making his point in the boxing community. Tank Davis's 24th fight, which he had with Leo Santa Cruz, was one of the most distinct matches he has had in his career. Tank took the time to define his dominance in boxing. Tank Davis has always been brilliant in the ring, but his match against Santa Cruz had people torn between him winning the fight and Santa Cruz pulling his weight and giving Tank his first loss. But guess what? Tank Davis proved his haters wrong. He won the match with a KO. At the time, Leo Santa Cruz was far gone in the league than Tank Davis, as he already had a record of 37 wins, while Tank Davis had a record of 23 wins. But remember Tank always trying to make a statement in the ring, regardless of how hard it gets? Oh yeah, Tank did that again during the match and won the fight. However, the next tough fighter folks want Tank to go up against is Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is one of the most ranked fighters, as he is the first and only boxer in history to become the undisputed champion at super middleweight, which he held the distinction till July 2024. Boxing fans believe a match between Canelo and Tank Davis will be a worthy fight to happen in the history of modern boxing. Canelo is just a beast like Tank Davis. In fact, some people believe Canelo's beast mode is even worse than that of Tank. Canelo would fight tooth and nail to win a match, but guess who beat Canelo over a decade ago? Tank Davis's former boss, Floyd Mayweather, beat Canelo Alvarez in 2013. Well, Floyd was more experienced than Canelo was back then, and that played a big role in the fight. Canelo, who was 23 years old during the fight while Floyd was 36 years old, couldn't have possibly had the experience or tactics that would match Floyd's performance. Canelo fought bravely, but Floyd won the 12-round fight. Over a decade later, folks want Floyd's supposed protege to fight Canelo Alvarez. Will Canelo allow Floyd's descendant to knock him out in the ring as Floyd did? Or will he be the one to taint Tank's record as a form of revenge for the 2013 fight? We can't be sure just yet. The fight between Canelo and Tank hasn't been finalized yet. There have just been speculations and talks about getting them in the ring together for a professional fight. We will just have to be on the lookout for a fight between these two. Another fighter who has been so concerned about fighting with Tank Davis is Shakur Stevenson. Shakur would do anything to be paired with Tank Davis right now. Folks think Shakur Stevenson is too desperate for a fight with Tank because he wants to use it to boost his name in the boxing community. Shakur may actually need the pairing more than Tank does due to his stats in the boxing scene. Shakur has not been able to roll in the big leagues since his matches don't weigh as much as others' own, and big fighters aren't even really interested in fighting with him. Shakur has made his intentions about fighting Tank Davis clear a lot of times. But Tank doesn't feel the same way about fighting Shakur. Just like folks have been looking down on Shakur Stevenson and that Tank Davis would beat him in a fight, Tank Davis also feels the same way. Tank Davis believes it would be an easy win if he fights with Shakur Stevenson, and it may just be a waste of his time as the fight won't help his pocket. Fighting with Shakur wouldn't put enough millions of dollars in Tank's bank account, so he's not interested in using his energy for that kind of fight. On the other hand, Shakur says nobody should look down on him as he could be the one to defeat Tank. Well, that would be a big deal for Shakur as he would be adding Tank's big name to the fighters he has fought with. But will the fight ever happen? Let's see how it goes. So do you think Gervonta Tank Davis losing his cool and getting aggressive is uncalled for? Or do you feel Tank Davis was just letting out smoke during the sparring session? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel or turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on celebrity news updates.